Okay, well, I guess let's get this started.
Okay, welcome.
Welcome to our podcast, right? It's called the Just Simply Talks podcast, and I want to just welcome you guys. I'm here with, my boy Tyler, the doula.
Yes, sir. Here at Rowell, man. And I guess we're going to be just simply talking. This is all it is.
Yeah, just honestly. What were we going to be talking about? Well, a lot of stuff, we're going to be going over, finance, business, self-improvement, and just life in general, right?
Yeah, and I guess like what we really hope is to not try and make ourselves experts at anything or anything like that. I mean, you can probably tell we're fairly young, right? I mean, look at us, right? Yeah. It's not we've had huge amounts of success and experience in the field, but at the end of the day, what we're looking for is maybe to provide a little bit of insight, a little bit of value, and maybe even a little bit of entertainment, if that's what you're looking for.
Yeah, like Tyler said, yeah, we haven't had vast amounts of success, but we've had some success, and maybe you can learn a thing or two from our journey and from the conversations we're gonna have. Okay, so let's get this podcast started.
Get right into it, I guess.
Right. So, what's our first topic gonna be?
You know what? I think we should start. What we start in any social setting, right? An icebreaker. I tell a little bit about yourself, maybe about kind of what we're doing and why we're doing this, what
why are we here?
Yeah, what are we doing here?
What are we doing here sitting in front of you guys talking? What are we here? Okay, well, let's start with you then.
Okay.
What's your why? I guess let's start with that.
Podcast in general. I think, for me personally, a podcast isn't something that I've ever wanted to do. I'm not gonna lie, there are a lot of things that I haven't wanted to do in life, but a podcast to me was I'm saying things and everyone out there is just gonna be listening to my take on things and judging them, and that's it right? That is a podcast. Yeah, and I see people doing podcasts, especially now with COVID and everything, and it's cool, it's lit because they're entertaining, right? They're having a good time and they enjoy doing it, right?
Yeah.
And for me, a podcast is something that I never really wanted to do, but I'm hoping that maybe just maybe somebody can be entertained or at least get a little bit of value from it, or from me saying something, or him saying something, or even learn from our mistakes or what we do or don't do. But really, this is something that's kind of pushing me out of my comfort zone, which I like.
Which is
and
good.
So yeah, that's what I'm here. And there's a lot to learn from this guy, a lot to learn from Rowell. So any chance I get to hear this guy start saying something, I'm for it. Yeah. So yeah, that's what I'm looking for.
That's true. Yeah, me too. I wasn't really ever too fond of a podcast, but it's only because I didn't want to edit a video.
Yeah, for real. I know nothing about that, right? So,
but here's the thing. We have an editor. Shout out to Danica.
Yes, sir.
We're gonna be editing our videos, but I guess my why is because I talk so much already. So I mean, this is just a place, just I guess to just talk.
No, for real. And that's the thing.
Yeah.
We talk a lot, man.
Right? Sometimes when we talk, we're just bro, this should be already recorded.
Yeah, for real. We're
it should be recorded.
I will finish half an hour of a conversation and be where was the camera? It should have been here already.
Should be recorded. But yeah, so hey, we're gonna have some good talks, and again, Tyler said, can learn a thing or two from our journeys, and at the same time, we're growing too, so you can follow our journey as well. So,
yeah, something I hear a lot is it's always good to document, right? And for me, I think this is a good way of maybe documenting where our minds are at right now, some of the things we're going through, and kind of what our insights on what's happening are, right? And it's also fun to look back at where you were at a certain point and see the way you were thinking back then, right? So for example, a year from now, I might watch this podcast back and be damn, that's where my mind was at, right? Or that's what I was thinking. And so this is a great source of documentation, and follow along if you want to have fun with it, right? That's really what it is.
Yeah, same thing for me. It's just it's a great way to see how much I've grown, right? Documenting is a great way to see progress throughout a specific time frame. And I'm probably gonna look back at this first podcast and be yo, what the fuck were we talking about?
Absolutely. 100%. I'm gonna be why did I even say that?
Yeah, what is this? What kind of podcast is this?
What is going on right now?
Yeah, what's going on?
All right, so yeah, but like I said, like he said, measuring growth is a good thing, and talking about growth, Actually, you know what? I think that's a pretty like good place to start. Talking about growth, because that can be applied like across the board, right? Whatever you're trying to improve in, whatever you're trying to, get better in, or even if you just don't even know where to start with improvement, right? Because that's something that can be so like general, and that obviously everybody wants to improve, right? But like a lot of people don't know like what to do, where to start. It's not very like focused a lot of the time, right? And so that's, I think, a question that like we probably like get a lot is like, where do you start with self-improvement and with the whole like journey of improving yourself? Or like, how did that come about for you? Like how did you start? How did you become what you are now? How did you become this Roel?
So how did I become Roel? I guess it just started from, I was always very competitive. So it started with like looking at life, and then I'm just like, you know what, this is like, I know I'm made for something bigger, I just don't know exactly what it is at the moment. I remember I was walking out, because I used to go to York University, right, for kinesiology. So I was walking down the campus, and then I just remember looking up, and I'm like, you know what? Like, I know I can do something better than this.
He's looking around the school. He's like, I'm not trying to be in this school building.
I was like, I know there's something out there for me that's bigger and better. I just didn't know where.
Okay.
So I guess where I first started was questioning where I was, and then not being comfortable on where I was, because I knew there's something more than this. And so I guess I started doing more research. I think maybe a lot of us have done this, right? How to make money online.
Oh yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, it's probably one of the most Googled things, to be honest. Yeah, how to make money online 2018 or whatever year it is, right?
How to make money online 2021.
Best ways to make money, or like fastest ways to make money online, right? You want it quick, you want it easy, you want it from home, right? No, so yeah, no, definitely.
So that's where I started. So I remember specifically Googling that. I found a YouTube video, and then the term passive income came, and I'm like, you can make money while you sleep? I'm like, bro, I want that. And I guess that's really where the journey really started. And then I started to delve into the stock market back in 2017. Started to learn more about that. I started to learn about mutual funds, and started to learn more about business, specifically drop shipping back in 2017. And then this just led me on to different business ventures, different investment opportunities. And it's just been constant learning for me. I think one thing that I've learned is that to always stay a student, right? Always stay a student. No matter how much you know, continue to stay a student. And this is, I guess, where I am today. Even today, I'm still spending thousands of dollars learning.
I think that mindset's important. Like always staying a student and always being open to learning. It's probably pretty cliche. You probably hear it a lot, but it's very true, right? And it sometimes can be like a hard mindset to implement of looking at a situation and your first approach being to learn from it, right? Yeah. A lot of the time, the first thing we do is evaluate it as like, did it go well or not, right? Was that a good or a bad experience, right? That's it. And it takes a lot to form a habit of really like looking at it as like, okay, what can I learn from what just happened? Right. And when you do that, then like you'll see, a lot of less of a difference in success and failure and stuff like that. It's more about, I learned how to do this and I learned this. All right. So that's a very important thing. How did you decide what you want to delve into? Right. So you saw that, like, was it like, did you want to do that? Or was it just like, I'm going to try and see what sticks and what doesn't? Right. How did you decide? Because there's like so much stuff out there, right?
So
like
much.
You see a lot of people doing a lot of things and doing well doing a lot of things, right? You see people succeeding doing a lot of things. So how did you decide, like, what was for you, what you want to try first, right?
Yeah, well, I guess like what you said, like I tried different things and I see what stuck.
Okay.
Right, that's literally what it was, because I think a big key to success is just never closing a door on an opportunity. So whenever I saw an opportunity, I'm like, yo, let me try.
Yeah.
Right? Like, who knows? Right? And when it comes to like making money online, all these different business ventures and investments, they're all good. You can make money with anything, but it's just like, is what you're doing stay true to who you are, right? So, I tried drop shipping. I was drop shipping and then selling name necklaces. Right? I don't know if you remember that, but maybe not.
I know we talked about your drop shipping, like
I used to sell freaking name necklaces.
For real? I didn't know that.
On Etsy, right? And so I'm just like, this is great. I'm making money, but it's not what I want to do.
Yeah. It's like, I don't want to do this.
So let me try something else. And I
Okay.
tried another thing. I tried being in the stock market back in 2017. I fucking trash. lost some money. I'm doing well nowadays, but when I first started, I was pretty bad at it, right? So I would try multiple things, right? Try multiple things. Honestly, I failed so much, right? But this is why we succeed, because we fail so much. Because there's no such thing as failure. It's either you succeed or you learn something.
Or you learn,
right?
Absolutely.
So I guess I just tried multiple things, and whatever stuck, and this is what I do today, right? I just do something. I just try new things, and then if I feel like it stays true to who I am as an individual and what I value and what I stand for, then I'll continue to do it. But if it doesn't, then I'll just drop it.
All right. That's when you move on and find something that does fulfill you.
Exactly. At the end of the day, it's about like fulfilling myself. Fulfillment. Success is being fulfilled, being happy, not like making shit ton of money. But that's a good too.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with making a lot of money, but it also, you have to incorporate, like, are you happy doing what you're doing? Some people aren't.
Exactly.
Right?
And there's definitely, you can measure, your improvement or your growth by both ways.
Yeah.
Right. A lot of people, it's not necessary that they have to be making so much money, but if they're really comfortable, they're really at peace and fulfilled with what they're doing, there's a whole lot of growth mentally there. Right. And it's not always about like, if you're just because you're rich enough to do something, that's the standard to success. Right. Obviously we all know that being financially free or being helped financially makes a difference, right? It enables you to do more things, right? But there's a lot of I would say, measurable growth elsewhere too, right? Which is like you're talking about fulfillment. I think that's a big thing because there are a lot of rich people who are not fulfilled. And we all know that,
there's a lot,
right? There are a lot
of people, right? They have the money, but they're just not happy. And so, yes, money can buy you happiness, but I mean, it buys you Chick-fil-A.
No, definitely. Chick-fil-A gives you happiness.
Chick-fil-A gives me happiness.
No, for real, man.
But money definitely doesn't buy you everything. It doesn't buy you happiness, but it does buy some happiness. It's wrong to say it buys you happiness, but it's also wrong to say it doesn't buy you happiness whatsoever, right?
I'd say so too.
Right?
Yeah. No, because like when you think about it, right, there are people who you wouldn't be able to measure their self-improvement just by things that you can see, right? For example, somebody could be working the same job that they've been working for the past 2 years, but they've gone through a lot of growth in that past 2 years.
Yeah.
Right? And it's not something that you can measure by their status in life or, how much money they have or what they're doing, buying, especially now that social media is such a big thing. That's all we see, right? Like, I don't know what's going on every day with a person until I see what they post on their social media. Right? Then I'm like, oh yeah, well, as far as I know, this guy's out doing this, right? And so, but there at that same time there could be no growth going on, right? Even though it looks like they're doing well, they're succeeding. So it's very hard to tell, and it's definitely not all to do with like finances and things that you can see and measure.
Yeah, no.
Right?
Yeah.
Like self-improvement takes a lot of different kind of like paths.
Right. I mean, there's self-improvement with your finances, with your mental health, your emotions, your relationships, right? There's a lot of different subsets to success and to self-improvement.
Absolutely.
Right? But yeah, I guess just try different things. If that's one piece of advice is, never be closed-minded to an opportunity because you just got to try it, see if it is for you, right? And don't half-ass your effort, right? Go all in. If you're gonna try something, you go all in, and if it doesn't work, well, I'm still 25 years old. I still have 40 more years of technically, well, not 40. I have a long life to still try different things.
Exactly, right?
Nothing is ever my be all end all. It's just like maybe I'll like it, maybe I don't, but I don't want to live life with regret. Yeah, the regret of never knowing if this could have been something big or not.
Exactly,
right?
And you'll never know until you try your hand at it.
Exactly.
Right? And what you said about half-assing things, it goes the exact same way, right? How can you measure what truly could have been if you half-assed it and you did, right? If I stepped into something and didn't give it everything I had, then I can't say that it wouldn't have worked. I can't say that because, well, how would I have known, right? I didn't give it everything.
Never tried.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Right? So I think that's an important thing, and that's a lot of I feel like a lot of people, myself included, like to dip their feet in things.
Yeah.
Right?
Kind of have a little bit of the, maybe it's me especially, have the shiny object
Oh,
syndrome.
yeah.
Shiny object syndrome for sure. Bro, I'm like, oh, new opportunity? Yo, let me try that.
Yeah, which is, it's good.
Good and bad.
Right? It has its, it has its goods and bads,
Goods
right?
and bads, yeah.
Like, it's very good that, you're not like closed off to things, and then you get to experience and try all these different things. But then on the other side, you could also say like, oh, it's hard to focus on everything at once.
Yeah, it's hard
right?
to like get success in one place if you're doing multiple things at the same time.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you're limited by time.
Yeah.
So you can't spread yourself out too thinly, but you can also, I don't think it's right to also say, you should just always, yeah, you can focus on one thing. I mean, people have made a living just focusing on one thing. But I guess at the end of the day, whatever makes you happy, man, whatever makes you happy,
Definitely.
that's the direction I'm headed to.
Yeah. And that's, like, I feel like everybody's path on self-improvement is like ultimately like, to happiness. Exactly. Right? Whatever route they think that's going to go, everyone's just trying to do their best to get to a place
where they're happy.
Yeah. Right? And it's very hard because like, when we talk about self-improvement, why do you want to self-improve yourself? Right? What are you trying to achieve? And does it directly, bring you that happiness, or do you know exactly what you're looking for in that improvement? Right? I know for myself, when I started, the whole reason why I kind of wanted to improve myself was because I knew I wanted to do things, but I didn't have the skill sets to do them yet. Right? I knew the type of person that I was, and I knew that type of person at the time would not be able to go out and do the things I wanted to do. Right? And so for me, the only reason why I decided to improve myself is because, okay, I don't feel fulfilled doing what I'm doing, and I don't have the skill set to change that. So what do I have to do? Right? I have to work on all sorts of things, my communication skills, right? I think that was one of the big things, but like the first thing was mentally. Right? I think mentally, I think a lot of people downplay the effect that your mental health has on a lot of things, right? When you talk about where your mind is, that plays a big role in being able to actually do something. All right. For example, when you talk about limiting beliefs, right? That's an example of it is can I actually do this? Right. The belief of can you actually do this? Yeah.
Too many people have too many limiting beliefs that they just don't believe, right? They want to try something, but if they're going in with the mindset that it might not work out, then that's already a loss. You're already lost. Right. So for yourself, right? And again, this is a pattern, right? If you guys notice, there's a pattern, right? So the point of self-improvement is because we're not satisfied, we're not fulfilled where we are. We want to get to another level. Like Tyler was saying, and like, yeah, what you were saying is like you wanted something, but you feel like with just your skill level, it wasn't where it should be to get you to where you want it.
Absolutely. I wasn't equipped. Yeah. Right. I couldn't do anything I want to. Right. I thought about, people do well in sales. Right. And yeah, of course, that sounds good. I want to do that. At the time, as a 18-year-old kid, I was like, well, do I have, what skills do I have to be able to do that? Right. Yeah. I had none because I came out of high school, and like at the time, my plan was, I wanted to go into law. Right, be a lawyer, and so I went to UTSC for poli-sci, right? And that didn't equip me with the skills I needed to do what I wanted to do. Right? For example, I'm just going to use sales as an example because that's something that I think we've both been doing from the get-go. Yeah. Right? So in terms of sales, communication skills is a big thing. Communication and listening skills. Right? I had none of that. I didn't really know how to talk. Wasn't really that great at articulating myself. All that stuff, right? Presentation's not really my thing. I didn't, I'd rather be quiet is the point, right? Or back then at least.
You told me, you're like, yeah. If I didn't have to talk, I'm gonna talk.
Exactly, right? I'd rather stay quiet is the point. But I realized that, that doesn't get me anywhere. That doesn't get you right. And so the only thing that I had going on for me at that time was, the mentality to change that, right? The mental awareness that yes, I'm like this, but I actually want to do something about it, right? I actually want to take the steps necessary to be able to do what I need to do. And, once I put myself in that mindset, and once, that mindset becomes a habit with other things, that's when you start to see that you can actually progress in things, right? Because if your mind is set to it, if you're mentally prepared to kind of take the actions necessary, then that's when you're able to actually see progression. And that's when you're able to notice that's when you're able to put in the work, basically, right? Because,
sure.
It takes work to do a lot of these things. And, if you're lazy or if you're just, your mind's not set to it, it's not going to work out.
Yeah.
Right. Because you're not going to want to do the work.
Exactly. Like you said, like we were talking about, like some people, they try new things, but they half-ass it. Right. It's never going to get you anywhere. Like you'll never really know if it was right for you or not, because you weren't mentally, you were in it physically, but mentally you're like somewhere, you're on Mars or something. you're not where you should be.
Exactly.
Right? You have to be there physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And then once you're really in it, then you can see if it really worked or not.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't work, that's fine. Just try something different.
That's the thing. You learn.
You learn something. You don't fail. You don't fail. You just learn.
Exactly.
Right? That's our mindset, right? We try something, we fail. We didn't fail. We just learned something new. We learned that this shit doesn't work.
Exactly. Right.
Try something else.
I tried something. If I learned that I am bad at this, well, okay, then I learned that. Right now, I know. I don't know. There's a whole lot of things. Even it doesn't even have to be directly related to what you're doing, right? When you're really looking for improvement, when you're really looking and in that growth mindset, I feel like you start to learn from anything that you do, right? For example, I come into the office every day, and I'm here for a purpose. It's because I work here, right? But at the same time, I'm having conversations with people, I'm meeting people, and I'm learning from them, right? I come into the office, I see this guy, we're talking, and I learn something, right? I see other people over here, I talk to them, and I learn. Right, because I'm constantly kind of looking to learn something. Learn something. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. I think I learned this from, I don't know who I learned this from, but they said if you're gonna go into anything, if you try to get something out of something, you're gonna get something out of it. Yeah. Right. So if you're looking to learn, you're gonna learn something. If that's what you're looking for. Yeah. Wherever your focus is what's gonna happen. Right. Yeah.
No, that's a very important thing. All right. Just your mindset going into things, right? You could attend or go to the greatest seminar or coaching call or anything like that, or meet the dream mentor, anything like that. And if you're not mentally ready to be able to learn and grow from it, then it doesn't matter, right? You're not going to maximize the opportunity.
No, exactly. So that's why I always say, also what I tell people is how you do one thing is how you do everything. Right. So if I can pay attention and be a good listener with you, for example, that means this is going to translate to other aspects of life. Right. This will translate to me being a better listener in my relationship, or being a better listener when I'm listening to a coach or someone who has a lot of knowledge they're trying to give me. Yeah. Right. So how you do one thing is how you do everything. There you guys go. That's a tip, advice. So also, that's one of the reasons why I have great habits, because my habits is just consistent across everything in life. Yeah. Because how I do one thing is how I do everything. Yeah. And
I think that's an important point of emphasis. It should translate to your habits. Yeah. Right. Because obviously we understand that we prioritize some things over others. Right. For example, I don't give the same amount of effort to one thing as opposed to something else if it's more of a priority for me, right? And so that's how it's going to be a little different, obviously. It's not, how I do this is how I do this, because, well, this is it's a higher up on the priority list, right? But it's rooted in the habits.
It's your default setting.
Exactly. It's your default setting. So, for example, fitness and business, right? If you have a habit of doing what needs to be done for work, if you have a habit of, you have that discipline of doing what needs to be done, the same thing translates into working out, right? Or your fitness. You have the discipline of, of eating right, of working out, not missing that stuff. Yeah, right.
Makes it easier.
Exactly. It translates, right? And it's, that's an important point that I think the emphasis is on, building good habits across the board, and how, you do one thing is how you do everything else when it comes to habits.
Yeah. Right? Even when I was working at Sport Check, right? A lot of people were very lazy, right? They try to hide and hide in the washroom, or, just half-ass things. But I said, you know what? How I do one thing is how I do everything. Mm-hmm. So even if I don't want to be here, I'm still gonna give it my all, because I know this default habit is gonna translate to other things in life. Yeah. And that's what it's been. It's been this constant, this constant default setting of of giving it my all, no matter what it is, right?
And I was like that before, right? I think, like when I'd work, it was just like I would pretty much be half-assing everything. Even in school, like high school, I was half-assing everything. Like,
me too.
Like literally, right? I'd be like, yeah, like whatever, I'll just get it done, right? Or like you said, hiding in the washroom. I think I would literally do that at work, right? Like I used to work as a security guard, and like I'd literally just like, yeah, I'm going on a patrol now, and then just like walk the slowest around the building as I could. You know what I mean? And just milk it, right? But I think once you put in the work to be able to build those habits in yourself, because it takes a lot of work, right? To be able to start doing that when that's not something that you naturally did, because I wasn't always like that.
Yeah.
Right. So it was something that I had to work at. It's something that I had to like, okay, like I have to kick myself in the ass. I have to be able to make sure that I do this. Right. And during that time when you're doing that, it's really not habitual. It's very conscious, right? Like I wake up every morning and I'm like, yo, why am I awake right now? Like you know what I mean? Yeah. And that probably like, for me at least, I know people say it takes like 90 days to form a lifestyle or whatever, right? Yeah. I swear it was like a good like half year or more, or a year probably even, like to be able to actually say like, yes, these are my habits and I actually have this discipline to do this. Yeah. Right? Because, like even in school, like when I was like in first year, I crammed everything. Right?
Procrastinating.
Yeah, exactly.
I was a procrastination king. Yo, you ask my mom, she's like, this guy just procrastinates everything and anything he procrastinates. And honestly, I still have a little bit of that bad habit, because sometimes bad habits are hard to get rid of, but it's not as bad as it used to be. I'm still working on it.
Yeah, I mean, we're always growing, right? We're always doing better. I mean, trust me, neither of us are perfect, right? Like I, for one, like I was talking around, I'm like, yo, like whenever someone's like, how do you do that? For example, like waking up early, easiest thing, right? Like, I don't know how you're up at like 7 all the time. I'm like, trust me, like I am not a role model, right? Like dude, like no, man, like no, man. I have many faults, many things to learn. All right, but that makes it fun. Like for me, I see that as like there's a lot of growth left, right? And that's a good way to look at it, in my opinion.
That's good, because there's always something to look forward to. You're like, I'm not there yet, but it's like this journey that makes it so much more fulfilling.
Exactly.
When you actually get there. And even when you get to a specific point, you're like, there's always more. There's always more to learn, more to grow.
Oh yeah.
Right? But going back to habits, right? I think maybe one of the things that I've learned from, Tony Robbins, he said that there's two types of motivation. Okay, there's a pull motivation and there's push motivation, right? So push motivation is discipline. It's doing it because you know it's right, but you don't like it. So with push motivation is a lot harder, because like just pushing yourself to like getting up early, right? If you don't like it, it's hard, even though it's good for you, because you can get more done throughout the day. It's tough. So what I like to opt into nowadays is pull motivation, right? Figuring out things that I'm drawn to. I like to do it. It's a lot easier to do it when you like to do it. So maybe like when it comes to sleeping and waking up early, you have to, instead of like forcing yourself and trying to build that habit, I think you have to, it starts up here. You got to start thinking like, I like waking up early. Because if you like it, it's so much easier to do it. So you gotta somehow brainwash yourself to believe that you like it. And you gotta brainwash yourself in a way that makes you believe. Because I hated waking up early. Right? If you ask my brother, sleep at 2 a.m., wake up at 1 p.m. All right, eat brunch, and then go play basketball, and then my day was done. I didn't have a life back then. Literally, I was up for like not even 12 hours. Damn. That was my life for like a specific, I forgot what summer this was, but that's what I was. That's what I used to do. Right? Because I just didn't like waking up. But the thing is, when it came to basketball, no problem. I could wake up.
Because you liked it.
Because I liked it. So that's that pull motivation. So it's not that people can't wake up. It's that people just don't have
the right motivation
to wake up. So if people find the right motivation, it's easy to wake up. It's easy, super easy. So you just need to find
definitely
what it is.
It's like waking up for a flight.
Exactly.
Right? You have to. Like you have to, and it's You're like, and I'm not mad. I'm excited, right? I'm like, oh, yo, I'm about to go on vacation, right?
Exactly.
9 hours from now, I'm in Hawaii. Yeah, I'm up at 4 a.m. You know what I mean? Same thing. But like, for me, like the only reason why I talk about it like that is because for me, I don't think I really had that pull motivation. Like, it was me just pushing every day. So hard. Right? Yeah. That's why I speak like it was so difficult, because it was like I was just pushing, right? A lot of the time, like, you know, for example, we talked about day trading, right? When I was paper trading, right? I would push myself to wake up in the morning pre-market, and I would wake up and be like, man, this isn't even real money. Like, what am I doing? Right? Like, it was so hard. And so, like, you know, and I think for me, my experience has always just been pushing, right? Like, I wish there was something that, you know, woke me up in the morning like that I loved, and that pulled me to wake up.
You don't have that right now? Nothing.
Right now, honestly, nothing that I have to, well, let's say in terms of waking up early, no. But, you know, in terms of like discipline and work habits, yes, right? When I say discipline, it's not as much discipline now, because I'm happy to do it, right? It's kind of like my habit, it's my lifestyle. I know what I'm doing, right? You know, and it's something fun. Like, honestly, I do love coming to work, right? Like, I don't get in my car and be like, oh, I have to go to the office, right? Or you know, when I have client meetings, I'm not like, oh, I have a client, right? I'm like, you know, I'm like, this is going to be good. This is going to be great. I'm excited. Right. And so I wouldn't necessarily say like it's pulling me, like I love it. But that push, it doesn't take that same level of push anymore. Right. It's easier.
You're drawn to it.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, I'm fine doing it. This is my lifestyle, and I'm pretty happy with it. Right.
Yeah. Probably one of the reasons why I wake up early is because I have students in the AM.
Oh yeah.
So like, I'm already up because I know I have to. I mean, these people pay for me to teach them, so obviously I can't be like all groggy and like and like, oh, I don't want to be here right now, right? Because you know, they're paying good money to learn from me. So in the morning, that's my pull. I know like I have to serve these people at the highest level. Yeah. So right away, you know, I wake up, just like slap my face, you know, maybe with some cold water, and then I just get onto the Zoom call, right? So I mean, yeah, my students are what pulls me in the morning. To be honest, if I didn't have any students in the morning, it'd be tough.
Yeah, because especially if you don't have like a reason, right? It's tough. Or if your reason's not strong enough, it's like, well, you know, whatever.
Yeah, if you don't have a why, if you don't have a why, it's tough. Yeah, it's tough to really just get up. You need a really good reason.
For sure. And I think that's, you know, speaks to the importance of like goal setting and stuff, because that might not be your ultimate why, but at least if you have goals, right? If you have reasons that you're thinking of why you need to do these things, it becomes a lot easier, right? Like it's easier to push yourself for a reason than for no reason.
Yeah. But some people just have that discipline. But you know what I think it is? Because they're happy to be disciplined. They feel happy being disciplined. It's like,
I know what you mean. You kind of take pride in it,
you
right?
You take pride. Yeah. Hey, I'm up 5 a.m.
Yeah, exactly.
You're psyched about it.
Yeah,
but
it's
again,
like
it goes back to like their pull to it, because they love that.
Yeah,
it's the pride.
Definitely, it's like, I have this discipline. You know, like I do this.
Yeah,
and then, you know, it's a good feeling.
It is a good feeling for some people. For me, sometimes I don't know about me. Sometimes I don't really have that pride waking up early. It's more I do it for somebody. Yeah. So, hey, that's why I book my clients in the morning. That wakes me up. But then also because of this body clock, because of the habits, even when I don't have clients, my body just wakes up in the morning. I think today I was supposed to be here in the office at 9 a.m. I woke up at 5. Oh. Like, bruh, like why am I awake right now? But I couldn't go back to sleep. So I just started, I was just exercising in the morning. But yeah, it's just like the habits kicked in.
Exactly.
It's became a lifestyle.
Yeah, and you're just getting up.
Now it just gets up. I just can't do it like...
Yeah, exactly. So I don't push myself to wake up anymore, right? Like I'm up, whether I like it or not, right? Yeah.
I'm up.
Unless like I had like some crazy night, and you know, I'm like I slept out like, you know, 3-4, then, you know, we'll see about that. But otherwise, you know, I'm up, right?
So how about in terms of, we'll stick to the topic with getting up early. Do you have any specific routines that you do?
Routines
in the morning? Any habits?
So for me, the first thing I do when I get up is like I just sit in bed for like a minute. Like I make sure I sit up, because if I stay laying down, like it's like I'm basically sleeping again, right? It's like I'm still in bed. So I sit up and I kind of just like take the time to pray, right? Like or people can meditate or do whatever they do, right? But for me, it's, that's my way of kind of centering myself and starting my morning off, right? Kind of knowing what to do.
Prayer, like, what do you pray about? If you don't
know. A little bit, it's almost like, talking, right? It's give me a good day, give me the strength to do what I need to do. And more often than not, I plan a lot of things the night before, right? So have you ever heard of decision fatigue?
No, but I can kind of
guess what it is. Basically, it's like, the more decisions you make, your mind kind of gets tired. You kind of get tired throughout the more decisions you make, right? So I don't know if you've seen this, but like you see like the way like Mark Zuckerberg or like Bill Gates be dressing. It's literally just like jeans and a shirt. That's it, right?
Okay, I get it.
And sometimes part of the reason why, or like the iconic Steve Jobs outfit, right? And sometimes part of the reason why is because like they don't like making that many decisions. They're kind of saving their decision power for like the important decision throughout the day, right? And so, and I kind of noticed that kind of helped me too. So what I do is like I plan a lot of things the night before, right? Like I tell myself,
what to wear.
Yeah, this is what I'm gonna wear. I already know what I'm gonna have for breakfast, and a lot of things is like routined out, so I'm not thinking in the morning. I'm up, I center myself, I ground myself a bit, and then I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this.
Okay, so it's just like at that point, like it's automatic.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Like, you don't have to think too much.
I try to make it kind of like as automated as possible, so that I'm ready for the day and
save the brain cells for the more important things.
Yeah, literally, whatever little brain cells I have left are saved for the things that need them.
Actually, that's interesting because I don't do that. I should try it. Because in the morning, I'm just like still deciding, what should I wear?
Yeah, you see, and it takes a lot of energy, to be honest. Because like there are days where I do have to decide that, right? Yeah. For example, like there are days where I need to dress up, maybe because there's a big meeting going on or there's a client or whatever. Obviously, with COVID, there's a lot less of those days. But there are days where I'm like, which tie, which suit, which jacket, right? And then by the time I'm walking out the door, I'm like, man, like I feel like I decided so many things already. Like I feel like my brain has done a lot, like I'm tired. Right? And like True. But the thing is, I'm just getting started, I'm just leaving. Like why do I feel like this?
So that's decision fatigue.
Yeah, right. Okay. You kind of like,
maybe I have that.
If you like, if you think about it a little, you might notice, right? Like maybe like if you kind of just do everything, you won't really notice it that much. I actually don't know as to like how accurate the science behind that is. So but
common sense, I think what you're doing is smart. It's
easier.
I think it's easier because sometimes, I'm telling my Uber, like you'll give me like 2 minutes. I'm still deciding which pants to wear. The Uber's here. I'm like, give me 2 minutes because I'm still deciding.
Yeah. And the thing is about that, it also makes life easier because things happen. Like life happens. Yeah. Right? There are things that we don't predict. We don't know what's going to happen. Right? For example, I'm on my way out. Boom. Family comes over to drop something off. And I can't just leave now. Right? Like I at least have to entertain them for a little bit or something. Right? Like something like that happens.
Yeah, life happens.
Life happens. And so this makes you like kind of better prepared to deal with that. Because when life happens, there's nothing additional that you need to worry about in that moment, right? It's just like you're taking the situation you're faced with, and it's not like, oh my God, I have to think about this, and I don't even have pants on yet, and you know what I mean? Like, it makes it easier, right? So
that's true.
That's why I do that. So a lot of my routines are morning, right? I go straight downstairs. I have protein waffles. It's because it's set, right? I know what I'm gonna have for breakfast, or like if it's not that, it's something I prepared the night before,
true,
or for the week, so I know. Right. And then in terms of what I wear, I tend to wear pretty simple stuff. So when like, for example, now I'm literally just wearing a white shirt and like black pants. That's it. Right. I didn't really, last night I was just like, yep, that's what I'm going to do. That's it. Right. Like that was that. And so I wake up, I know what I'm going to wear, whatever. Right. And I feel like it just makes it a lot easier, makes my morning routine a lot easier because I'm not really thinking, right? I'm getting things done without having to like... It's
just automatic. It's like subconscious. It's your subconscious running, not really a conscious thought.
Yeah.
Right. So basically you're saying like, you set yourself up for success the night prior. Yeah. Right? So I think that's a good lesson.
Yeah, I think, learn from. And it makes it a lot easier. And that translates to like everything being prepared in advance. Yeah. Right? Because in everything we do,
again, how you do one thing is how you do everything.
Exactly.
So
right?
Would you say like just in anything in life, you always want to be prepared before going into anything?
I would say I try. So this is the thing. I had to force myself to be like that, right? So to prepare things that like the day before and kind of like, at least just for the morning.
Yeah.
Right? Just for the morning so that my routine's set. That took a lot of like, I kind of forced myself to be that way, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think naturally I'm not really like that. Like naturally I'm more of a, let's just do it and kind of see what happens.
Just spontaneous.
Yeah. Right?
That's me
like,
too.
let's do it and see what happens, right? And throughout like a lot of things that I do, it's kind of like that. It's pretty spontaneous. It's pretty like, you know what? I'm just going to try it. I'm just going to do it,
Mm-hmm.
right? And, you know, like it has its pros and cons, right? Like, you know, the pros are I don't really get, you know, like paralyzed by thought, right? I don't get like preparation paralysis where I'm like, you know, oh my God, like I'm not going to do anything yet because I'm not ready.
Yeah.
Right. For the most part, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to do it and I guess find my way through it. Right. And that's that.
And I can learn a lot from your routine, because me, I'm very spontaneous.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very spontaneous. Like I set my goals. So I'm like you in a way.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have everything automatic, but I set my goals, my daily goals the night before. So at least I have that.
Exactly.
So I know already what I'm going to be doing. So a lot of people, because I read in a book, and if you're trying to set your goals right in the morning, you're just wasting a lot of time. Like you're making decisions, and like it's just a lot of wasted time.
Mm-hmm.
So I do that prior the night before, and then when I wake up, I already know what I'm supposed to be doing for this specific day. But I don't go as in depth as you. Like I know what I'm eating, what I'm dressing up. But when it comes to dressing up, to be honest, I only wear two things.
Yeah, exactly. So
like I don't have
same.
My top is two things. It's always a white shirt or a gray shirt. And I swear to God, I've been wearing the same pants. I wash it though. I wash the pants.
I wash them. He washes them.
I wash it every week. But it's the same pants, same navy pants that I wear all the time. And the shoes. Like I have, like, especially when I used to work at Sport Check, I purchased like over like 40 pairs of shoes, and I still have a lot, but I only have like 2 out that I really wear. I have shoes for the office, and then I have running shoes for when I go out. Yeah. So it makes decision making, like you said, easier. So much easier.
Definitely.
Like, less is more. Mm-hmm. Less is always more.
And the thing about like preparation, right? I mean, Simon Sinek talks about it a lot. He talks about how, you know, there are infinite games. Yeah. Right? And in a finite game, basically everything is about preparation, right? You're playing in the past. So when you think about any competition, let's say basketball, right? The coaches, you know, they're trying to avoid surprises. They're trying to make as many preparations as they can, you know, to avoid being surprised on the court during the game. Yeah. Right? They want to be ready for any plays the opposing team tries to throw at them. You know, the point is about being ready. Same thing with professional athletes, right? They spend 90% of their time training for the event, right? And that's what it's about. And the event is always a result of the preparation. Yeah. Right? It's about how hard you prepared. And that's what finite games are. Like, you know, games that, you know, have an agreed upon set of rules, and you know, everybody in them know kind of like what is going on. They're aware of the players and the rules, and somebody wins, somebody loses. Yeah. Right. And those games, you know, they're just about preparation, like chess. We play chess, right? Chess. And it's about strategy, right? You're planning beforehand, kind of familiarizing yourself with the patterns. Right? That's the reason I won a lot, because I just seen more patterns. Exactly, right? And so there are finite games, and those are games that you win and lose. But when he talks about infinite games, and this is what really piqued my interest about that, is because life is an infinite game. Life is a game. Right? And it's not a finite game, because there's a lot of things that we can't win or lose. Right? And it's more about adapting to the situation. It kind of, you know, it makes creativity necessary, because you're faced with things that will surprise you. And it's not about trying not to be surprised. It's about, you know, minimizing it. Yeah, see, that's the thing about a finite game. It's always about minimizing surprise. But how about right? In an infinite game, it's about, you know, expecting surprise. So just expecting it's going to come? Yeah, expecting it, and kind of, you know, building your creativity to be able to handle it, and kind of like, you know, because that's what life is like. It's like, that's what it is, right? It's just like, especially the world is growing so quick. You know, the same strategies, same business model today
if you continue it the next like 2-3 years, it's not gonna work anymore.
Exactly.
It's not gonna work. So you have to always be prepared. You know, expect the unexpected.
Yeah.
All the time.
And it's about adapting.
Yeah.
Right. So you see, you know, businesses and corporations always talking about, you know, like even like what we work in finance, and what we see with a lot of the companies that we work with is we're number one in this, you know, we're top 10 in this. There's always quantified, right? It's always we're winning, right? It's trying to project like, yeah, we're winning. The thing about the infinite game is it's hard to project a winner and loser. There aren't really set winners and losers, right? The rules are forever changing. Right. And that's the thing. That's where adaptability and creativity comes in. Yeah. And it's so interesting to me because, you know, you get to really see people's ability to take on surprise, things they weren't prepared for. Right.
That's a good that's characteristic for success.
Yeah. And you see the businesses that stay for a long time are the ones that are able to adapt and evolve with those situations.
Innovate. Right. This is why, like, you know, Netflix versus Blockbuster, the famous example. Right, Blockbuster didn't want to adapt. They didn't innovate fast enough, and Netflix took over. Exactly.
Life threw a curveball. The world changed as it does, and you know, Blockbuster said, "You know what? We're winning right now, so we don't need that." Right? They were stuck in the finite game, and you know that, and you all know what happened. Right?
And that's the thing with many of business owners. I see so many business owners today on social media, and that's great. I'm happy for all those business owners, but the thing is, the world is always changing, and if you're not going to be able to adapt to it fast enough, you're going to be irrelevant. You're going to lose your company, right? That's why most businesses don't pass the 5-year threshold, because the world moves so quick, especially now with technology and everything. Bro, we are exponentially growing. We're just growing so fast.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's so insane. The multiple platforms, right?
It is. It's crazy. Like, what even is cryptocurrency? You know what I mean? Like,
like, exactly. That's a past.
Like, I would say I'm pretty familiar with it, but I wouldn't even know how to describe what it, like, you know what I mean? It's like, what even is that? And like, if you think about that back in like however long ago, it would be like, what is that even real? Like, you know what I mean? It's kind of like a joke. Like, it's virtual money. Are you kidding me? You know what I mean?
But that's the thing. Now everybody is more adapt to it. But again, it's like, I'm not saying it's in the near end of its cycle. Yeah. I think it will still be here for a long time.
Oh, for sure.
But that's the thing about, like, again, like hesitation. Yeah. Because when you hesitate, you miss out on the opportunity. Yeah. Right. That's why I'm always open-minded. So that's why, shiny object syndrome is not so bad.
No, definitely so not.
Because, you know, you can get in at especially when it comes to investments, if you delve into it earlier, you can catch a big return.
Oh yeah.
Because then you're the early bird. When the majority starts to get in, you're gonna make money.
Oh yeah.
You're gonna make some money.
Yeah, and I think the most important part about that is knowing how to put yourself in a position to actually capitalize on opportunity like that, right? Because a lot of the time, you know, even for myself, let's say, you know, a couple of years ago, if I saw an opportunity, you know, back when I was 18, I would not have been able to capitalize on it because I wasn't in a good position to do so, right? It's about preparation and staying flexible too, right? Because, you know, for example, let's say buying Bitcoin, right? In hindsight, everything's clear. In hindsight, obviously, we know, you know, when the price is up and down. But if I, you know, at the time, if I was in a position where I could actually buy Bitcoin, right? If I were in a position where I actually had the, you know, the money to be able to do that, you know, and I was flexible with that position, I could actually do that, then I would have been able to, right? And I think a lot of people sometimes don't find themselves in a position where they could just be taking advantage of opportunity like that.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, that's why the famous quote goes, I'd rather be prepared and not have an opportunity than to have an opportunity and not be prepared.
Oh yeah.
Right? It's all about preparation. Yeah. That's all it is. Right. That's why I guess me and Tyler we wake up early too, because, you know, we're preparing for the stock market.
Exactly.
Yeah, we're waiting to see. We don't wake up at 9:30 and then the market opens like, oh, what's good? What's happening?
Oh, what's going on?
No. We know, and not even like in the morning. Sometimes we already do our research the night before. We already know what's about to happen. That's why we can capitalize and make some decent money, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, being prepared good thing to do. Yeah, I'm gonna start trying that. You know, laying my clothes.
Yeah, like it might help. You know what I mean? You might find that your morning becomes a lot easier.
I think it would. I think
Right?
that's something I'll take from this. Is just like you know, put my clothes out, pick my socks. Right? To be honest, like I'll probably spend like 5 minutes. Like, yo, what socks should I wear?
What socks look good? Yeah. What's the height of my pants so I know how much of my sock is showing so I know how much sock to wear? Things like that, man.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, I mean, like, hey, great conversation.
Yeah, man.
This is I think we're past the 20-minute mark.
Oh, way past, way past. You know how many times Danica came around and just like looking at us like, man,
It's like, man, you're gonna be
mad,
it's gonna
yeah.
be a long ass podcast.
It's like, thank God we have an editor, cause shit.
Thank you, Danica, for you know, editing our videos. But yeah, so I mean that's episode 1, I guess, and
I guess so.
you have an outro.
So we do have an outro. We're just gonna get her in here to film it. So this is what what is the blooper reel now or what?
Yeah, I don't know what this says, but anyways, like, hey guys, it's been a good conversation with Tyler. We're gonna have more conversations like this, right?
Definitely, absolutely.
Who knows where it can go, really. So even us, we're still trying to grow and trying to figure out what exactly we want to use this platform for. Like we did mention, again, wealth, business, life in general. But hey, you guys let us know. Let us know what you guys want to hear, because you know between the two of us, we have a lot of I would say some wisdom.
Or you can learn from my lack of wisdom too.
I always tell people, you know, learn from my mistakes. Learn from my mistakes. So maybe, yeah, you guys. Hey, why don't you guys start making your like putting your stuff the day prior, right?
Do that.
Just prepare. You know, get prepared. Get prepared for everything before you ever delve into it.
Yeah.
And then maybe that can take us somewhere. Yeah, I don't know where
For
we're
sure.
going with this.
I know. Now we're literally just
now we're
like
just talking. But anyways, later.
Peace.
Peace.